Hello, crypto traders. This is Dr. Daniel Daves. This is the class for Tuesday, June 26th, 2018. This is a recorded class because I am out running in the mountains of Panama as you're watching the class. So I thought I would do the class recorded and get you in on work tonight. We're going to talk about multiple time frames. This is very, very important, multiple time frames, because most people do not, when they're trading or in life, most people live their lives on a one-dimensional plane. But when you're trading, it is important for you to have a comprehension and understanding of multiple time frames. We're going to find that in our charts. So right now, the daily chart is going to say one thing. The weekly will say something else. But you know, the 10-minute chart may say something completely different. So if we're looking at charts, we have to remember and we have to understand how to trade multidimensionally. If you're just trading a 10-minute day trading chart, and you're trading, you're heading up, and then all of a sudden, bang, you hit your head, and you say, okay, well, let's keep going, but it drops, and you say, what in the world? I thought we were going to come back here and keep going. Well, there is, in a multi-dimension, there may be a daily or a weekly or a monthly big old resistance line there, and you just hit it like a wall, and you didn't see it or know it was coming. It's very, very important to understand these multiple time frames so that you don't hit a wall that you don't know is coming. All right? Because, I can trade a 10-minute chart, but when I run up against a 1 week or a weekly wall, that is huge. That's where the big boys come out and play. That's where the big billionaires who are out playing golf who say, hold on a second, I need to take a trade, and they do it once a year. They take a trade once a year or once every couple of years. A day chart with daily candlesticks, guy might take a trade once every 2 or 3 months. While day traders are just trading all the time, bang, 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 these other guys who are busy, they're taking swing or position trades, and when they take the big trade, it's billions, and it turns markets around. That's why it's so important. So here we are in Bitcoin. Right now, we're looking at a daily chart. Now, you remember, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We've been in a downtrend. We hit some lower lows. Here we just hit a lower and just kind of ticked under the low of 2018 here on Sunday. So we're still hitting lower highs, lower lows. So it looks pretty weak. I mean, what a weak chart on the daily, right? However, you may know I have been posting and saying, hold it, guys, the market is doing some little wake-ups here. It's waking up, and we're seeing some big boys infusing a lot of money into the markets. Well, Daniel, how would you say such a thing? Because, I mean, when we look at the daily, all we have, and thank God we do have here, we've got basically some hammer candles down here, and so but there's not much going on. I mean, these candles aren't any different than the other ugly little baby green candles for the last few months. But that's because we were on multiple time frames, and I'm going to show that to you tonight now. But so the daily, as we look at the daily setup, and remember, whenever you have a market kind of going up this way, down, up, down, retrace, down, retrace, down, retrace, down, retrace. What's typically next? Down. In up, an uptrend, what do you get? Up, retrace down, up, retrace, right? Up, retrace. When you're going up, it retraces down. And so you really, I think one of the free classes I did out in Bitcoin crypto world, I taught how you can kind of see, watch for it. So where did we break a new low or a new high? And then what kind of a retrace are we doing? Are we breaking lows or highs and then retracing, or what's happening? You can kind of judge and gauge. So on this daily chart, to me, the daily kind of says, hey, we could certainly be going lower. Absolutely. Down, big down, retrace to what? Maybe down deep lower. As a matter of fact, the channel that I've drawn here is looking that if this thing would drop, this thing could drop all the way down to the support channel of $5,250, $5,250, and hit a bounce 5. It could hit a bounce 5 channel play down at $5,250. 1, 2, 3, 3, slide, 4, 5, and bang, it could come down and hit another 5 down here. You know, bang, hit another 5. So we could come down a long ways and still be in the down, retrace, but typically some of these bounce 5s, as you may remember, seeing before, a good bounce 5 channel, you know, this thing could come down, bang, and then all of a sudden, wham, 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 boom, back up to the 4. And, you know, there is no down, retrace. It's violent. That's where the change sometimes happens, and it gets crazy at or beyond the line on the 5. Okay, so right now on the daily, nothing real exciting here. I mean, okay, there's 3 little green candles. You might, you know, a guy might put a little bit of money in right here at this level at the 6,000 to 62, okay? But in support and resistance, we're really looking for it to come down and give us a good at or beyond the channel line trade. Daily, bottom line is daily doesn't look so good, all right? Well, what is all the fuss? We had a lot of guys were saying, hold on, guys, this thing could turn around violently within the next day or even hours. People were posting, it's coming, and they were posting that during this big daily red candle drop. Why were they posting that? Because it was about to break new lows, and they were thinking maybe down here was a whole pit full of buyers. Well, that pit of buyers hasn't shown up yet, but on a different time frame, the buyers are there are buyers showing up. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get inside of these daily candles and look at their activities, see. Now, when the great big buyers show up, that daily candlestick is going to rocket to the moon. You might see a $1,000 or $2,000 move in one day on one daily green candle. And the daily will then be shouting something on that time frame. But today, let's burrow down inside the last 4 candles here, 3 greens and a little baby red just starting out. And so let's go down to a 1-hour chart. And let's see what happens here on the 1-hour chart. Now, as you may see here, get my pen. So the market came down. This was the one-day drop right here. So over the weekend, the market's bang, 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 little pullback, bang, little pullback, bang, pullback, bang. Okay, so, and then all of a sudden right here, which I think I pointed out I pointed it out on an update video I did on Sunday, released it Monday morning. Let's get it a little bit bigger. Look at this bullish engulfing green candle. In 1 hour, this candle engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 hourly red candles down. This 1 hour totally engulfed it and ate them alive. reduced them to ashes. It basically said, we're taking over here. So something big happened right there in that 1 hour candlestick. Very, very powerful. And then, as you can see, it was up, and then it was kind of down, and then bang, up to new highs. Down, bang, up to new highs, and right now, down. Okay, it's retrace. So typically it's retracing, and it could shoot even higher again, right? Because higher highs, pull back, bang, higher highs again. So we could very well be setting up for another move here on the hourly chart. It didn't look so big on the daily. The daily wasn't really saying much. But what is the 1 hour chart saying right here to you? It should say that some big dog came in and ran Bitcoin from 57.50 all the way to 62.14. Actually, in some of this wick, it took it up to 62.50. So 57.50, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Someone in 1 hour took it up $500. There was a whole bunch of buying going on here. Some of it could be sellers exiting with buy orders in the short market, but it was also someone big when they said, you came down and you broke the low of 2018. I'm going to take it here. And man, did they take it there. So far, it's been continued. They're continuing to take it, hold it, and try to run with new longs, okay? New buys. So on the 1 hour micro level, hey, there's a wake-up going on here. Now, this wake-up will be met with resistance. But if it's strong enough and if it's powerful enough, it will begin then to move the daily charts into action, where people looking at the dailies going, oh, hold it, hey, something's going on here. The dailies are starting to show signs that the market's waking up. Let's go back to the daily. Does the daily candle right now, any bullish engulfing candles? No. Any big, huge sign, a bounce off of support that shows that the buyers are in the house? No, nothing. It's not here yet, but it is here on the 1 hour. So the 1 hour chart is the micro time frame, and we know that we got some buyers in here. Might these buyers be overtaken? Yes, the market could fall back down and go down lower, absolutely. But what you have to do is you have to take note in your mind that on the 1 hour chart, the buyers have shown up. So if I'm wanting right now, I want to make a move, I want to make some money, do I buy the market on the daily chart? No, not really. There's nothing really there to buy unless you're a hammer candle buyer and you think that might be a bottom. Okay, buy a little bit down there, but don't throw everything in. But down here on the 1 hour chart, we've got this massive bullish engulfing candle with a pullback to higher highs, a pullback to higher highs, a pullback to what? Higher highs. Right now, we may have a move to break this last high. So right here, right now, it's 62.31. If you bought at 62.31 and it rocketed up to 6,500, there would be a beautiful little $270 move you could make on on the Bitcoin chart or on any other cryptos that are following Bitcoin. You're going to see probably about the same thing. However, just because we move from 62.30 to 6,500 and you make a little cash there on the micro, let's go back to the daily. Let's just take that daily candle now. Let's just say, okay, this is going to go on up. Okay, oops, and let's just say it goes up there tomorrow. All right, so there's tomorrow's candle up to 6,500. Down in the hourly candle, it looks wonderful because you're trading a smaller time frame. On the daily, okay, all right, a little movement there, but nothing to write home about. I mean, it wasn't a bullish engulfing. It wasn't, wasn't anything to the moon. We didn't break any new highs. We just kind of went up a little more. So you have to understand, so a whole lot of little movements on the hourly will begin to show the wake up on the daily. And the daily then would begin to show wake up on the weekly. As a matter of fact, let's look here at the weekly chart. What do you see on the weekly? All I see weekly here is a doji candle. That doesn't mean anything. Doji just means pause. We've been in a downtrend. Lower lows, right? Lower lows. Lower highs, and pause. That means nothing. There's no movement on the weekly. So it will take a whole lot of daily to begin to push the weekly scenario. What will it take for us to break a weekly high? First of all, we just barely, but we busted under the low of the year. So the weekly is still in a downtrend. Look at this. The next uptrend on the weekly, or the next high to break, is 10,000. On a weekly long-term bullish chart, we're not going to be bullish until we bust up over $10,000 for Bitcoin. So we are negative and bearish on Bitcoin and other cryptos in the weekly long term until we break a new high and stop breaking new lows. That could take how long? Shoot, let's say that we don't break any more lows. It could still take 6 to 12 weeks to get up there and bust a new high, 10,000. So the weekly is moving slow as a turtle. The daily, what do we have to do to turn the daily around? Well, in order to get a daily, we got to stop breaking lows, and we got to break that next high. That's 6,800. So look at this. On the daily, we got a whole lot less distance to go to break a new high and go into an uptrend than on the weekly chart. So the daily could signal an uptrend, but the weekly could still be in a downtrend. That's why I've been saying, yes, we're getting some movement on the hourly chart, but there is a ton of resistance above. The weekly guys are still thinking down. The daily guys are still thinking down. The big players are thinking down. They're not thinking up yet. Now let's go to the 1 hour. And what do we have to do to turn this chart into an uptrend? Because we did just break a low. Well, we're going to have to break a high. Oops, just did that. Now we're going to have to keep a higher low and break a higher high. And then keep a higher low and break a higher high. Well, we're almost there, 2/3 of the way there. We just busted a new higher high, and if we do not break this low right down here at the very bottom of the chart, and we swing around and head back up again, this market comes down and boom, swings up and breaks a new high, we are reversed. In a 1 hour chart, we are now in a valid uptrend, though the daily doesn't even show it hardly yet, and certainly the weekly just shows doji rest. So you see how much action's going on? The battle and the warfare is taking place down here in the micro level on the 1 hour chart, but it doesn't mean anything for the daily or the weekly players. So if you're a day trader, you're in the action. You're getting ready to make a little trade here. Now this goes to the next reason why I'm teaching this to you today. Up, pullback. If indeed this does go up to a new high, how far, and let's say you got in right here at 62.14, it runs up, busts a new high, and you got a target, let's say you got a technical target of 6,500. Are you going to stay in this trade and just hold? Or are you going to trade this trade based on the 1 hour chart, which shows up, pullback, up, pullback, up, pullback? Are you going to get in here at 6,200 and say, I'm in for the long term, I'll visit this trade in a year? You can't do that. This is a 1 hour chart. You need to visit this trade in 12 hours, not in 12 months. You're in the wrong chart and the wrong time frame if you're holding on. You need to run it up, break new highs, take your profits, and wait for a pullback and look for another trade and trade the time frames correctly. Don't trade them wrong. So let's say, and here's why. So let's say I bought in at 62.14, right, or 13, where we're at right now, and it runs up to 6,500. Okay, and I'm still in, and I'm thinking, man, I'm just going to hold on. Okay, let's take a look at the daily chart, because the daily chart doesn't have a problem with you running up here to 6,500. No problem at all. But right now on the daily, down, pullback, down, pullback. This pullback's not going to have a problem letting you get to 6,500. But that pullback is not designed to go up and break new highs 20 grand or above on Bitcoin. That pullback is designed to go down and try to break another low again. That's why the 1 hour time frame says get your rear end out of there, take your profits, and wait. And then we look up at the daily chart. The guy that held on, it comes back to break new lows. It deteriorates all of his profits, and now he finds himself actually in the hole, and he's upside down in his trade, and he's all freaked out wondering why that happened. And of course, the weekly chart, no reason to even enter there. It's just a doji. That's all. It's just a period of rest where the market's not doing anything either way. I hope that makes sense here on the charts. 1 hour versus daily, 1 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. Look at these different time frames because they're talking differently. The hourly or the 10-minute or the tick chart leads, the hourly leads to the daily. The daily leads to the weekly, and the weekly leads to the monthly. So you always want to be familiar. Right now, in Bitcoin, on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, we have a downtrend, period. But in the 1 hour, we've got an uptrend forming right now. So we got to be proud of those little buyers. They're starting up. They're starting to wake up. They're doing their work down in the 1 hour. And if they keep working and keep resisting and keep pushing and keep buying, it's going to show up on the daily. And all of a sudden, the daily chart's going to start changing, and we may find the daily in an uptrend. And if that happens, we're going to back up and look at the weekly, and the weekly is going to start showing some interest. But it'll take quite a few weeks. The weekly may also show it's starting to wake up to an uptrend. We're in the season now for daily, weekly, monthly to start waking up. We're in that season. But it might take weeks or months for it to wake up. But you're seeing the progression start down in the short time frame. One super thing that you can do is once we get a confirmation, let's say on the daily and the weekly, we get confirmed back to an uptrend and we're rocking, we're heading back up in the 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000 levels, and we believe that we're going to go up and break new highs and it'll be good days. At that point, though, you may then, once everything's in an uptrend, you can take a daily pullback, get in, and there will be certain times that I will teach you here in the future. Certain times you will be able to roll a daily trade that goes positive. You can roll it into a weekly trade, which will have a whole different paradigm and a different set of exits, which could give you an exponential capacity to win big, rolling your daily into a weekly and your weekly into a monthly. Okay, so this is multiple time frames. You see the daily's waking up a little. The weekly's not interested, just a doji. But the 10-minute is happy. So right now, the day trade in me comes out and says, okay, Daniel, if you're going to trade something, how about trading, a swing trade, something that might last 1 to, let me see here, channel. How about trading something that might last 1 to 5 days? Yep, I'd be real interested in that. Okay, so here is our channel. Real simple. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, and boom. If this thing came down and hit right here at the bounce 5 under the 200 rising moving average, that may be a real great at or beyond the line zone to get in on a 10-minute chart, looking for a bounce up to the last bounce 4. So 62 up to 62.57. Wow, $57 I could make. I'm sorry, and it's about 61.70 to 62.50 is going to be what, $80? 70 to, yep, $80. It could be an $80 run. You might be saying, well, I got into crypto, though, to make $25,000 on a run. Well, don't trade the 10-minute chart. If you're trying to make 25 grand, take Bitcoin from $6,000 to $30,000, you're not going to trade the 10-minute chart. You're going to trade a daily, weekly, or monthly chart to get that to happen. Meanwhile, let's play as long as the buyers keep doing their thing, bang, right? As long as the buyers keep doing their thing, you can trade the 10-minute all day long and take little $100 and $200 pops out of it. And then as it works hard enough, it'll rotate into the daily. And the daily will begin to wake up. And then we've got a longer-term trade that we can trade. Okay, I hope this has been a good class for you tonight. Multiple time frames. Don't ever forget to look at multiple time frames as you move forward in your training. Okay, God bless you. Look forward to seeing you Thursday night.